Okay, so I'm going to remove you guys out of the stream, and then we'll be back.
Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long. The ceiling is white, but the shadows are black. A ghost in my heart says she'll never come back. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long.
Good evening, and welcome to the Haunt Hour, with your host, Dan Doble, Susie Fleesick, and Troy Crivolo. Join us tonight as we talk about all things haunting and Halloween during the Haunt Hour.
Oh, there we are. And we're all here. Look at that. I can't believe that. I couldn't believe it. Everybody's talking, and all of a sudden the screens start blanking out one at a time. Black, 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 black. I'm like, what the hell? And then it starts spilling, and then my thing is spinning, and then I go to talk to you on the chat, our messenger chat, and it's gone. Like nothing is working. And I'm like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. And then I take my headphones off, and my fan is like running 1,000,000 miles a minute. I'm like, oh my God. So I had the Bucks game going on another screen over here. So I shut that off. I'm like, well, maybe it's just because I'm streaming too much. And I go outside, out to the living room, and my son, who has 2 friends over, they're all streaming on their devices so that they can play video games. And I'm like, guys, you just crashed my computer. It's all your fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. So anyway, welcome to the Haunt Hour. I am Dan with Troy and Susie. Tonight we are going to be talking some home haunters. I'm super excited. Rutherford Manor. Where are they out of?
They are out of
Canada. Aren't they Canadian?
Canada, but I didn't know.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Right, Hugh? No. They're shaking their head no.
I can't see them.
Hugh, where do you live?
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
Okay.
All right, now go back in the green room.
We're so professional.
Professional. By the way,
That's how
Dan,
we
the
roll.
reason your computer shut down is because the FBI is still looking for you
Ah,
after
I do.
your time on the run. I'm glad you decided to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to get away from them. Nobody's going to go there to find you, so you're
Nobody
fine.
goes here. I mean, they're too scared, right? They're too
That's right.
scared.
Yeah.
Chicago, St. Louis, all those other places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Milwaukee's the most feared place in the world right now. So.
Pretty much.
For at least if you're a hunter. So
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about some current events. I'm gonna steal the show right now.
Steal it.
With John 4th of July, the Fear Expo released they released the announcement that they are going to have a live show, an in-person show in Tennessee.
Kentucky.
No, Kentucky. Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was down there where
It's Overton or Overborough.
Yeah, it's a beautiful venue. I did some research on it, and it's right next to the river, and it's a beautiful venue. And there's a lot of cool haunts down there that are within a good hop, skip, and a jump from where the convention is. So I'm hoping that that actually works out, and they reveal some cool haunts and stuff. I mean, I don't expect this show to replace Transworld. I don't at all. I expect it to be a great show that people can come to and unite and talk and have fun. And oh, by the way, there's a trade show. Like that's what I hope it turns out to be. If they do it right, not that I'm the trade show master, but been doing this a while. I've seen enough to know that if you can treat the haunter right, and the haunters will grow, and it's a party to go to, then the vendors will follow. So
yeah,
hopefully, and it's not going to be something they can build overnight either. It's going to be a show that's going to have to go on for 3 to 5 years. They're going to have to lose money to make
There's
it.
going to be some growing pains there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So a lot of people aren't excited. I'm excited. I hope to see what happens. I mean, it's January, so if I can go south in January,
Heck yeah.
totally down for that.
I mean, Kentucky's sort of south.
Yeah,
I did look at the weather. I looked at the weather, and it's below freezing at night, and it's about 50 during the day in January historically. So
yeah,
that's
better than PA.
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
Yeah, it's better than in Wisconsin too. So
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
so
I think the interesting thing about it being in January too is that I think we talked about this. I'm not sure if it was on the show or we just were chatting about it, but I'm not sure if I can make Transworld next year. As a professional haunt owner, that's the show that I go to every year, and I'm not sure I can make it because my daughter is involved in theater, and the spring musicals are always around that time of the year. So this could be an interesting alternative for us. So I'm interested to see like what more comes out with it. And it's not that far for me. I'm not that opposed to taking the trip down and seeing what it's all about. So, you know, I'm not knocking anything. I'm interested to see what comes of it.
how far away are you from the location? Did you look?
No, I can look right now. What?
I'm 7 hours, and I'm 5.5 hours from St. Louis. I'm 7 hours from Louisville. Or
I'm like 10 hours from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Where is it in Kentucky? Do we know?
It's
I'm looking right now. Hold on.
This how
is Kentucky that big? Does it matter?
I know it's like 30 minutes from Gorgalore, so I'm super excited about that.
Oh my gosh!
I went back to Facebook again.
Lincoln Tour Gorgalore, I'm there. I just typed in Kentucky, and Kentucky is a mere 5 hours and 39 minutes from me. So
okay. See, that's an day drive. So
yeah, right.
We can make that on a weekend, and if they bring the show and they bring all the stuff and they make the hunters feel welcome and feel special, you know, not just welcome but special. Like shit, this is the place to come. Like this is badass. I think it's going to be a good time. I really do, and the Fear Expo. Let's be realistic. Troy and I have had this conversation. I've had this conversation with the owners. They've got a bad rep with the online, but like I've said in posts before, that this is a completely different beast than online. Nobody's been successful on online, you know, as far as a trade show. It's super clunky, and it is what it is. So
after years of being in person with everybody, you cannot replace because I mean, you could try it for different, you know, like you could do it for like business type stuff, but you can't do it with Halloween stuff because you have to touch it, you have to see it, and I don't care how cool your interface is. I am not going to. I mean, I can go to a website and see pretty much the same thing. So having a website convention does nothing for me when I can go to that website and get the same stuff. So it did not entice me to go at all. And I know that was the big complaint, was that nobody went because they didn't see the pull, where in person there's a reason to go. If you know, and normally what happens with haunters, and it happens with some of the different groups of haunters, is that one of them will say, "Hey, I'm going." And then 5 of their friends will say, "Hey, I'm going too." And then 5 of those friends will say, "Hey, I want to go too." And then that's what snowballs it into being a successful event. That's how Transworld got going, was more and more people said, "I'm going" every year, and everybody wanted to go with their friends.
Going, you know? Yeah. I mean, that's how any event gets going, is it's people get together, and then, by the way, it's pretty badass here. It just more people tell more people.
Know, as bad as it sounds, you need the attendees more than anything.
Yep.
You can have all the coolest vendors, all the coolest haunted houses. You can have all the coolest costume balls and events. But if you don't get the attendees to buzz it and to go, it will not be successful. Right. Because we are the ones who are spending the money there, and we're the ones who get that. You could pay for advertising left and right, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but nothing will ever compare to word of mouth from us.
Yep.
It's just the nature of it. And so I wish everybody the best in that endeavor.
Yes.
I think it'll be interesting to see if any of the vendors themselves, I don't want to say sell out of goods, but I think the vendors know how much they can make before a certain deadline. And if you've got a ton of orders in January from this show, how much can you offer at Transworld in March? So if they're kind of the same vendors, that could be a problem.
Right. But at a certain point in time, it's also a lot of those vendors, and I don't say a lot, I know a handful of vendors that I've talked to personally about this, and they vended at another show in January at Hong Kong, and they were able to employ their part-time employees all year round when they sell at 2 shows.
Oh, so, yeah.
a lot of these people, they don't have a full-time staff. I mean, it's a full-time staff of 2 or 3. Sometimes it's just 1, and they have people that come help them in the busy season. Well, this is an opportunity to give somebody a full-time job working in the haunt industry. So
well, and you have to gear your products. You have to gear your products to the audience. So like with HauntCon, that was more of, hey, I'd like to get into the retail business. So they tailored what they brought to that, where Transworld, they're tailoring it to people like Susie. They're not tailoring it to me. I can't afford hardly anything at Transworld, but I can afford a crap ton at MHC because it's geared towards the home haunter. So if your audience that is coming is what the vendors are catering to because they know what to expect, and that's what year 1 problems always are, is you don't know who's going to show up. Right. So if a bunch of home haunters show up to Fear Expo and these vendors bring Transworld type products, they'll sink. So then they'll adjust for year 2. So that's that's what Fear Expo has to do, is they have to tell them what type of people will be attending, and that's and the vendors in Fear Expo have to work on that communication and all that. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Speaking of communication, Troy, let's jump over. We're gonna get off this because I feel like this is a whole topic in its own right. For me, for news, this is the second Tuesday in a row now that it has been hotter than Hades, and I'm not excited about it. But I did personally, I did buy an RV this weekend.
Nobody's heard. I'm not sure if
nobody's heard about me buying an RV as a renter, which is a weird thing to have in front of your yard when you rent a house and then you have an RV in front of it. I don't really know what I'm going with there.
RV.
I'm an RV. My wife already said that I could facade it out as Cousin Eddie's for Christmas, but when I told my parents, they said, "Why are you storing it?" And I said, "Because I have to put Halloween in the yard and then Christmas." And they're like, "Really?" And I said, I go, there's no question. So about 10 minutes after that conversation happened, a haunter that is moving away from me, sadly, they live down the street and they have a haunted house. They're moving a little bit further out from in my city. They offered me a spot in their new RV lot that they're going to make in their property. So haunters helping haunters, I get a friends and family discount, and it all falls.
It all works out.
And Halloween continues.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's right. It's who you know. It's who you know. I actually came up there. I was talking with Eric Roberts, who's going to be on the show soon. And I told him that haunters know their strengths and surround themselves with people who can help with their weaknesses.
Oh, that's good.
See, I like that. And that's exactly what we do.
That's great.
I have a lot of people that help me with my weaknesses. I have a lot.
Yes. Same. So, that's a perfect segue into my news of the week. Actually, that's perfect. We didn't even rehearse that. Because I was going to say, we were working this weekend. I was working on cow spots. I'm sure you guys know what cow spots are. Whenever you do the latex and everything, and I am a work in progress. I mean, just because I own a professional haunt doesn't mean that I know every aspect of it. I am more I don't do a lot of the building. I do more of the decorating and the design, and I do all of any social media, advertising, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm learning, and I'm putting out some pretty mean cow spots there. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna pat myself on the back for my cow spots.
I'll pat your back too.
Thank you. But yeah, my other news is that for those of you who don't know, Crawford School of Terror has an axe throwing venue in the same building, Crawford Axe Throwing, and then we also have a mobile axe throwing trailer that actually we got the idea at 2019 Transworld. If you guys were there, they had somebody with an axe throwing trailer, and we were like, ooh, never saw this before.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, and we've rented it out. We've had a couple of grad parties so far. We have another one this Sunday. Every weekend we have it somewhere. We've had it at a craft show, which bad idea. Don't ever take an axe throwing trailer to a craft show. But they asked us to. It wasn't our idea. They were like, will you come? We need more people here. And we were like, sure. And I am not kidding. This reminds me of Dan, your story about your first haunt. We had 5 people throw that day. 5 people throw. Can I throw X's at Troy? Which Troy?
So I accidentally clicked the wrong one. I have to make sure I check comments down. Hunting wants to know: do you throw the X's while the trailer's moving? Because that seems like an awesome thing to do.
Funny thing is, though, I think we're actually going to bring the trailer to our parade, our town Halloween parade. It's like this huge, it's the biggest parade we have all year, which I love that about my town. The Halloween parade is the biggest one. And we're going to actually pull it. And my husband was just saying, yeah, we'll have somebody throwing axes while we're pulling it through town in the parade. And I'm like, really? Is that really what, is it, are we really going to do that? And he was like, yeah, I don't see why not. And I was like, okay. So, but not normally. I don't think my shorts would really like that, but we'll see. But we just set it up. It's like a 22-foot trailer. We set it up. We take it to grad parties. We take it to, we had like a fun fest we took it to a couple weeks ago. We took it this weekend to our Rib Fest in town, which is normally a 3-day event. And our mayor decided to just do a 1-day event since it was canceled last year. We're just kind of trying to get back into the swing of things this year. Yeah. And he's got, all these barbecue places and bands set up and play. And it was just an all-day thing on Saturday. And we did excellent. We're the only mobile axe throwing in, I think, our county. There is an actual axe throwing venue going in the next town over, but they don't have mobile. So yeah, it was a great time. Beautiful fireworks that night. Everybody was just so excited that we were there. We had a line. We do like 5 throws for $5. And these guys get up there and they're like, oh yeah, 10. No, I want 10 throws.
You're throwing one-handed.
And they can't, like these big guys come up and they can't even get it to stick to the board. Yep. And we do a thing, if anybody knows anything about WATL Axe Throwing League, we do a thing where if you hit the kill shot, which there's 2 blue dots on the top of the board, if you hit one of the kill shots, you get a free hour of axe throwing at our indoor venue.
Oh, that's
and these guys are like, oh, I can do that. And it's not easy at all. But we did have we had a police officer come and he handed me $10 and he did 10 throws and he hit it on his 8th throw. And then he hit it again on his 9th throw. And he's like, what happens if I get it twice? I'm like, you get 2 free hours. Like, I'm not going to tell you don't get 2 free hours. So he's like, how about me and my son? We come down. I'm like, all right. So that's the only person that actually won on Saturday, but it's people have done it. So, but it's fun and things are going good. And we are 80 days away from opening night today. So,
oh my God. Are you guys ready or no?
Oh my God. No. That's funny. No.
I'll always ask that.
They'll be ready. They'll be ready in 89 days.
Yes.
That's pretty much how it goes.
And they open in 80. Yep. That's about right.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Sweet. Well, I think we're all up to date on current events, unless anybody else has anything else. I'm super excited. Thank you, Susie, for giving us an update on the hunt. Troy.
I think to introduce these next two, I think Susie and Dan have to sing the Canadian national anthem backwards and in French.
Nice.
So if you can,
that's disrespectful.
I think that's actually when you get pulled over for drunk driving, that's how you get out of it. You have to do that. So
in Canada, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So go ahead, take it away, Troy.
These fine two adults here, because they're the adults in the room, is Therese Hansel and Hugh Flesher, and I'm pointing down there. There, we're and Hugh's gone. That was the end of that. All right, well, they operate Rutherford Manor Haunted House in Edmonton.
That's correct.
Canada. And that is in the middle of Canada, pretty much, right? You're pretty much in the middle.
No, Winnipeg, Manitoba is the middle. We're on the west side of Canada.
You're west of middle. Got it.
Yeah.
Hugh's trying to come back in. We'll get him in here in a minute. But yes. So, and you are the prestigious winners of the best display and the best overall winner of the 2020 Home Haunter Award show. Or awards, and I got to be a judge of that, and and to help put it on. But I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that name come up, and I thought it was well deserved. As you know, I get to chat with these people offline on a different night that we do Halloween chats, and I get to chat with them, and so I got to see a little bit as it grew along, but I had no idea what they would come up with as an end result. And so it was awesome to watch their video, which is up on their YouTube page, which is Rutherford Manor Haunt. And so I guess we'll just kind of jump in and you guys can kind of tell us a little more about like your backstory of Rutherford Manor, how you guys started, how you guys came about, and just kind of.
Yeah, Troy, do you have any video while they're talking?
I do have video. Of course, I have video. Do you think?
Because everybody's like, "Oh yeah, this is cool."
Yeah,
it's great to see these two lovely.
They need to see it.
Let's see some fun.
They need to see it. It's
badass. There we go.
Badass. Yeah.
You get sound on this?
No, they're gonna talk.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Oh. Okay. Oh, all right. That's our front yard.
It is. And I just ruined it. I don't know what I did. I ruined it.
Oh my goodness.
This is professional.
Yeah.
It's the heat. I don't know about you guys, but it's 95 degrees here.
Yeah, same here.
It's about, I don't know. It's about probably 85 here now, but it was 90 earlier.
Yeah, it's hot. Everything's not working the way it's supposed to right now. Anyway, if you guys could give us a little update, like how long have you guys been haunting? What got you to where you're at right now?
Okay. We've been haunting. We've had an indoor walkthrough haunt since I think 2013. Is that right, Hugh? About that?
Yeah.
We started off with just a yard display in 2009 or 10. And when we moved to Rutherford, that's the community we live in, then we were here for this 2 years, and then we started doing a very small walkthrough. And it just grew every year from there forward. So started with just a few of us acting and trying to run the whole show to now 30 actors, 3 or 4 makeup artists, and lots of volunteers, lots of support, photographers, 2 or 3 photographers. So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It is incredible. So the first year you guys decided to start doing this, like, was it just we'll just make something in the front yard and then it grew, or was this a grand thing that you guys have been like planning to do? Like, I want to make a haunted house that holds 30 actors and 3 makeup artists, rivals any professional haunted house out there. Is it
never the intention? No, it was never the intention.
Never the intention.
No, it's taken over our lives. But no, it just started with again, yard decorating, and then when we moved to a new community, we put up a kind of a little diorama as well. And then when we moved here, we had that again the first fall we were here, and the next year same thing, and then it kind of morphed itself into a bit of a walkthrough and went from there. But no, it takes up so much of our time.
I bet.
Well, and because you guys also do, you guys are creating something outside of just the haunted house. You guys are creating like characters, and these go a lot further than just your haunted house, because you have characters that are going to be like in a TV show and stuff like that. Is that still in the works, or?
Yeah, there's that portions of that are still in the works. We developed a backstory, and quite a few of those characters are in the books and the screenplays and things like that for potential television show or some kind of media like that. Anyway, there's books also, board game potentially in the works. There's lots of things on the go. Yeah.
So you said books. I was running through and I saw that. Did the books create the haunted house, or did the haunted house create the books and the board games and all that stuff? Is it whose mind created this, or is this something that you're following off of?
The backstory I wrote back in 2013 or 2014, I guess. And so the books take that history that we started with, and then it's greatly embellished from that point forward. Sure. But basically the premise of the characters, the Rutherford Manor family unit, and other people that have worked and stayed with the Rutherford clan a long time, came from a lot of the backstory.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a home haunt, right? Correct.
Correct.
It's built out of it. Does it utilize any portion of the home, like inside, or are you all strictly all outside, tented and stuff like that? Like, how does that look for like setup and stuff? Because it's a professional haunt.
No kidding.
It's
how
all outdoors.
It's all outside.
Yeah, and our garage.
Okay. And did it start in the garage and then you just kept growing and growing and growing, or was it? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it just took over the yard.
Now, did I hear you right? Did you say 30 actors? Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay. My next question.
There's queue line in that and so on. So
Yeah. So approximately, I guess, how much square footage and how long does it take to like go through or see everything with 30 actors? Like, that's a lot of actors. There's some nights that I have 30 actors and I have a 3-story haunt.
I'll let Hugh answer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for as far as me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we don't really measure square footage. It's more about lineal footage. So we have about 600 lineal feet, and there's also a queue line. We have queue line actors, and the queue line can go out another 300 feet some nights. But there's about 12 scenes, and we've gone to bigger rooms instead of smaller rooms. We find it's a lot easier to decorate and get more better scares in larger rooms. So, I mean, by trade, I'm an instrument mechanic, so I know pneumatics and hydraulics, but we've gone towards more of the double actors or 2 actors in a room. And that seems to be better if you get 2 actors playing off each other. You can still have an animatronic for distraction, but nothing works better than 2 actors playing off of each other.
Oh, no doubt. It sells the story more too.
Yeah.
If you're more involved in the show.
Also, because it's cold here, very cold. That's another reason why we have the actors, because they all shift off, right? So they can come in and warm up. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Right?
To kind of give people an idea of where they live and how much space they have, there's not a whole lot of space, but they have because you use the whole side yard here, right?
Yes, you can't.
Yeah.
You don't use the green space.
Yeah, you don't use the green space behind there, but you have people line up back here, right? They line up through this pathway.
Yeah.
And
then they come around the front.
They actually enter the back.
Okay.
Through the back, they'll line up. No, there's a fence to the south there. They go all the way to the fence. It's
And sometimes they go down the side of the fence too.
Yeah, we labyrinth them as well. We put up pylons. So.
Right.
The fence way in the bottom left. That's how far back they go.
Yeah.
There we go.
It shows how much they have to work with here.
Oh, not a lot of space, but it looks a lot bigger in the videos. I mean, it really does.
It does.
Yeah. It's all the backyard. It's the side yard. It's the full 2-car garage, and then we build a little bump out on the front of the garage. So we get 12 full-size rooms or good-sized rooms in there.
Yeah, they're good size.
Like the alley, there's Victorian alley, and that's 40 feet long. This year it'll be even longer.
Yeah.
So that makes, you said this year is going to be longer. How much of it do you change every year? And if so, when do you start planning to change that?
Well, we plan the year before or even 2 years ahead.
Yep.
We change about 30% every year.
Yep.
Okay.
So there was aspects, of course, 2019 that we had already started to put in place for what we're adding this year. Because we knew that there are rooms that were being cycled out, like the chapel's gone, for instance. So we had an idea of what was going to replace that 2 or 3 years ago. So we started putting that set in 2019 walkthrough.
Wow.
One of my favorite ones is this room. because you had an actor in there, but people could only see into this room, right, from the outside.
There wasn't an actor in there this year.
Oh, okay.
That was the display.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a video stuff going on in that oven, and then of course the fire video. But people would come in. We'd let them come in there and take pictures, stuff like that, do selfies.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
And same with
cool.
the graveyard. They'd come and do a selfie.
And that's you right there, right?
Yes, that's Knox.
Yeah, that's you.
Knox.
Okay.
Mhm.
Knox.
Knox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that room. I like how you have and I'll probably steal Susie's thing, but lighting is one of the biggest things that I can see that you guys really take a lot of time on, and I've said that to you guys personally before as well. But what do you guys use for your lighting, and how do you go about it? Do you think about it beforehand? Do you do it afterwards? How do you go about lighting everything?
You're the expert.
Okay. Well, we use mainly LED lights, pretty much now exclusive. That's all we use pretty much. And with this one, because we started originally, the front yard was going to be part of the 2020 haunt. And when we had to scale it back to just a walkthrough, that's when we put the fire and brimstone in the front yard. So we just knew that we wanted to keep that fire and heat theme through the backyard. So that's why we went to a lot of the reds and the crematorium and just that kind of feel. But it's mainly LED lights. A lot of different. You need a bit of white light in there to get depth and shadows.
Right.
And so it takes us a long time, many nights to get. We go out every night when it's dark and check the lighting. Yeah.
Do you have a background in lighting, or is this just all creative trial and error?
Trial and error.
But like knowing, like like I'm watching how you're doing the fire and brimstone, which I think is probably my favorite prop of 2020 that anybody made in the entire freaking country was this fire and brimstone thing that covered your entire front yard. Mm-hmm. Is that you have like the little light there in the middle, and you've got the fire and ice pointed that way, and you've got different things that you're it's almost like you're hoping, because where you're putting them, you're like, well, I hope this works.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't know.
And we wanted, you have to have that movement, right? So we were just hoping, like, after we, cover it in great stuff and spray paint it, I hope you can see the movement of it. Yeah, it was, a lot of check. That's why we did one first, and then we kind of got a feel for how much and how much came through, and then we finished off the rest of the panels.
Yeah, the third or fourth panel is always better.
Yeah, it was probably the best.
Right. And how many panels did you make of these?
There's 4 right now, but there's gonna be more.
Yeah.
Okay. I just need to know, because I need to know if I need to bring my truck or if I need to bring a U-Haul when I come and get them. Actually, I'll just bring my RV because I can fit them in there, so we're good. We're good.
Speaking of U-Haul, where do you store all of this stuff? I mean, this is like a full-size professional haunted house. Where do you put everything, and how long does it take for you to set up and take down?
Go ahead, Hugh. Okay, sorry. It takes, well, first of all, we have 2 sheds, the garage and the basement, and 2 sea cans. So a 40-foot and a 20-foot sea can. So we have a lot of stuff, and it takes us. We still use our garage though. Yeah, there are many people for our cars. We park in our garage 11 months of the year, pretty much. But we'll be starting to build a lot of this. Probably the end of the month, end of July, we start building, and it takes us probably 3 or 4 weeks to set up. I would say, hey, we're done by October 20th, and from then it's just kind of tweaking. You're never really done, let's face it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We get the majority of it up and decorated and sets and the lighting in, and then we spend the last probably 4 or 5 days prior to Halloween just checking lighting, checking things like that. Music, getting all the sound effects in place, things like that.
Yeah, we have different soundtrack for every room.
Every room has
and
a different
they're layered. There's 5 or 6 tracks on each one.
Yeah. So
now, do you see people like all all October once you put it up, or is it just specifically this is when we open and this is when you can come and it's like Halloween night? Or do you get people come like the whole week of Halloween, or like how does that work?
We're typically open 4 nights, depending on how it falls. We'll be open the Saturday before Halloween, and then I think the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we have a lights on day on the Sunday as well. So it's limited, and we're open basically from 7 until 11. That's what our bylaw. We have to be done by 11. So.
Oh, okay.
You said bylaw. Do you have to get approval from the city? Have you had any problems with the city as far as a home haunt? You guys just set up and go, or is
Try to
it
stay under the radar. We don't go after social or main media or anything like that.
Yeah, it's 5,000 people in the time. It's hard,
Yeah.
but we have very good neighbors. Like
I was
we
just
have
gonna say, you
fantastic
have
neighbors.
really, really nice neighbors.
We really do.
Well, the whole community.
The whole community is super supportive. So
You should probably stop winning awards, though. That would probably help. That would probably.
Yeah, the second you put TV, you might wanna...
No, we're lucky. We've never had media out. We've been offered, but we've never had any TV coverage or anything like that. And that's one of the reasons we kind of avoid it. Yeah,
I can see that.
You always hear the horror stories about.
Yeah, and then it goes crazy after, and then
I actually, and this is a hint for that people don't have me do this, even though it's great content. But I went up to a haunt in northern Washington over the summer, a couple of summers ago, and they were building a haunt for charity out in the desert, and they have their own property out there, but it didn't have a house yet. And so I went out there and I did a video. I interviewed them. I walked around their property, and a week later they had a notice from the city because it got on YouTube and people shared it to the city, and they got shut down. So, but it was
popular.
And it ended up being okay, and the city's now behind them and everything. But it was kind of that shock to the system for the city where they were like, what's going on out there? And then now they realized once they got it all figured out, and then COVID hit and they didn't have the haunt anyway. So it was fine. But yeah, so don't have Troy come out and interview you about your haunt.
we've been super fortunate though. We haven't had any bylaw and nothing like that. So
yeah, which I mean, I'm actually surprised that people, because sometimes it's not even you, it's people will tell the news or a news will drive by and be like, oh, I want to do the weather from out there, or I want to just go out there.
Part of the news people's thing is to search all social medias to find fun stuff like that for October. So
yeah, I have news people. I have podcasts in there. I have news people that will call me and say, hey, where should we go? And so then I put out on our Facebook page, hey, who's willing to be on TV? And so I'll get 3 or 4 people say, hey, yeah, I want to be on. And so then we'll go out there and interview them. So that's obviously you would say no.
Yes, we would continue to do that.
Yeah.
I just think it brings a lot of, and then that was risk of theft and things like that, because it just, I think it just gets a little carried away.
Yeah, the more eyes you have on the show, the more problems you have.
Yes.
I start getting really nervous when it's like 9:30 and there's still 300 or 400 people waiting to go through, and going, oh boy, you got to speed it up, because we like to have people partition and spacing between them.
Do you ever have any issues at the show, like negative issues, considering the fact that you are, I'm assuming nonprofit, correct?
Yes, correct. Yep.
And do you ever have problems? And if so, given the size of the show and the amount of people that show up, do you have like a security team? How do you guys combat something like that from a home hunt?
Yeah, we have security people. We have somebody at the back, at the exit. We have queue line people, and then we have somebody's always in the food truck. The food truck or the food bank just brings us a big truck, and we just stuff it with.
Got it.
We don't have to move that around. We learned that lesson very quickly. We're moving the food around 3 or 4 times. Oh, yeah. So yeah, there's always people.
More than once, it's always a problem.
There's always people alert. We have a safety system. We have muster point. We have all the.
We have safety people within the haunt that are the go-tos. And we have people helping with parking as well.
Oh yeah, because you're on kind of a roundabout edge right there. You're kind of on it. There's not really a lot of places to park. Do people just park on the side streets, or do they park farther out and stuff?
They park farther out. They park in front of people's driveways, and that really pisses people off.
Right.
So that's the one thing that we really got to watch, because we did have kind of an irate neighbor.
Yeah.
But we live. There's a school right behind us, so a lot of times people park there and walk in, and the
cool.
school's okay with that. So yeah.
Oh, right on.
That's
Cool.
quite convenient.
So we have oops, that's not the one I wanted to bring
No.
up. This one I wanted to bring up. So
That
that
one,
brings up the question. Sinister Sydney asks, have you guys considered going pro at any point in time? I mean, you are there
We've considered it.
and backing. What do you?
There is one pro haunt in Edmonton, and eventually, maybe when I retire and I can spend all day doing it, I might do that. But I don't want it to ever become work. We just enjoy it too much. And
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely something that once you, and Susie probably can vouch for that one.
Yeah.
It's fun when you just build it and you don't have to worry about it. But then when you have critiques and people coming after you and you're actually taking money at the door,
Yeah.
it becomes a
Better
whole.
deliver.
Yep.
Yes,
better
absolutely.
deliver.
Puts a different kind of pressure on you for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, did I hear you say 5,000 people earlier, or am I hallucinating?
5,000 over 4 nights.
Oh my God! Seriously, I did not hear that. Holy
Yeah.
cow!
There you go, Dan. Beat that. 13
Oh my
people.
God.
Was it 13?
13 people. You guys are 5,000 at a home hunt. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
That's
crazy.
incredible. That's
And you guys
incredible.
you do no marketing, correct? Or do
Oh,
you?
well, social media, that type of thing.
Yeah,
A
social
lot of
media.
that. We have a lot of help doing that too. Like, we have great volunteer network, I'm telling you. So they're always posting. We put on the community Facebook pages and things like that. So yeah, we do a lot of social media.
like Troy said, we've surrounded ourselves with people that have skill
Way-
sets we don't.
Yeah, skill sets we don't have. So and
That's what we were
they're
just saying.
great help. They're great help. Yeah.
Mhm.
How did you guys
That's what makes
find?
it work.
Yeah, how did you guys find the volunteer base? I mean, is it a certain
question.
group or is as a home hunter and a professional hunter, always trying to find
Yeah, it's tough.
volunteers or even low paid employees.
Yeah.
Like, it's super difficult to find people, and you usually have to find people with a passion of that. How did you guys tap into that, and could you give us a little insight on how you got to that point?
It basically started. My son played competitive soccer in Edmonton, and his coach had a friend who also coached the same girls' age team, competitive soccer. They introduced us, and so they were looking for. They loved the haunt, kind of the concept of it, and they were looking for a way to get some jersey money for travel jerseys. So we kind of looked at it and we said, well, it's getting to the point where I'm getting feedback.
I know.
That's all right. Troy and I are fighting on who's
It's getting to the point where, we would just have it was so much work just to have one night. So we wanted some support anyway. So we basically said to the teams, okay, you guys come here. We'll keep it running, all the lights going, everything like that. You invite friends, family, charge them whatever you want at the door, and you just take the money. We want nothing to do with it. So that's how it started. Well, that group of people, Preston and his crew, loved it. They came back and they came back. And then that group grew from just word of mouth. And, there's Preston, that's his character there. Just people that they know. So it just got all of this talent from different areas that have come back year after year. That's basically how it started. To fundraise for girls' soccer jerseys.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this idea here with the characters, introducing characters.
Yeah.
It's
it's very in depth. I mean,
This
it's
is a great tool
and
here.
whoever's taking your pictures, do not let them go.
We are so blessed with a lot of really talented people.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
Every time I see your guys' social media, with something about, what the characters are doing, and you use your characters in your marketing, and it's just, the pictures that I see are just amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome.
Really are. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
This makes me want to come to Canada. It's the only reason I want to come to Canada, truthfully.
I know, right?
In October.
In October,
In
right?
October,
Yeah.
yes, for sure. We also had little cards made up, like character cards that we give out when we go to Edmonton Expo and things like that.
Yeah, we did that too years ago when I had a pro hunt. We had our character cards, and the characters would have a Facebook thing on the back, and the characters would hand them out at the parades and stuff like that, which would lead them back to the website, which was a good idea, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely well, somebody on a Facebook user, said you guys are like a theater troupe, basically, this isn't just a one night thing. This is something that is immersive, and you guys have been doing it for, quite a while.
Yes.
And really creating and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Jennifer last week, was that you've created an immersive environment where they step foot on your property and they are in what you've created. They're not in a subdivision. They're not in Canada. They're in this world that you've created, especially when you guys do the walkthrough,
Yes.
Now you guys planning on doing a walkthrough this year?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I just did that.
Yeah, hi.
Dan gave me control last week, and now
I'm taking it away real quick.
Now I'm playing. So now you guys said normally you change it 30%. Are you're going to use what you were going to do for 2020 and build on that with the 30% and add a bunch of stuff from there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that the front piece, the front yard will be incorporated in part of it, and
Okay.
there's actually probably more than 30% this year.
So I
good.
have a question. When you said you retire scenes and such, do you then keep those scenes and then bring them back? Do you sell them off, repurpose, take it apart, put it to something else?
We try to do a repurpose and redress as much as we can, retheme it. Yeah.
It has to stick to it has to stay with the backstory though. Everything has to match the backstory.
Yeah, it's
That's
definitely
open.
it's definitely something like when you go to like those big time haunted houses that are all immersive, everything always relates somehow to the backstory of what the story they're trying to portray. And I mean, you guys nail it. Like, it's ridiculous the way you incorporate characters, incorporate scenes, and everything matches the marketing. And when you go, there's nothing that's out of place that doesn't make any sense. It's not like you go into a phone room and then you go into a kitchen and then you go into, a laser swamp and then you're done. Like, it's all themed correctly. Everything makes sense and ties to each other. Oh, it's so badass.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. It takes a lot of planning, and we do. That's the nice thing about the backstory. You don't get creep. You don't start adding things that really don't make sense.
Right.
That one of the reasons I wrote it. That we got it was just to control how much the sets, how much stuff we're trying to buy to fill it, so it looks authentic and feels authentic, and then costuming, and that it's stopped people from showing up in costumes that weren't appropriate. So,
right.
Yeah.
Do you find
we do most of our costumes now. But.
Do you find that you end up having arguments or discussions in regards to, man, I really want to use this, but it doesn't fit the backstory?
Never regular.
Never.
We actually align pretty well on the backstory and what goes in it. I think sometimes we can't see the vision. So when I wanted to do the brimstone panels, Hugh could not wrap his head around it. It took him a while, and he's got a project he's working on this year, and I'm just trying to I don't get it. And then he's like me. He'll collect theme pictures, right? Inspirational pictures. And then when I see all those, and I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing now. So that's how it works more. But we are quite aligned as far as making sure we don't add something, a room or a set that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a team that works on theming, or is it just you guys and then everybody else kind of follows through, or do you have a build team, or you can't
We have a build team, but the vision is ours alone, pretty much.
Yeah. Most of I would say almost every set is we've selected and done ourselves. Yeah. We get people to help us to decorate them later and incorporate things, for painting and stuff like that. But actually, most of the rooms, I think all the rooms are ours. Like, we kind of theme out and do ourselves. And And we have a couple of key people that help us build
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
And hardly
So
anybody
so
wants to
then
play
so then
around.
your actors are not the ones out there necessarily building. They're now, but do your actors have a kind of a like? Do they incorporate with you and say like, okay, well, I'm the actor in this room. This is kind of my idea, or is it, or are you saying this is what you're going to do in this room?
No, we let them sort out their own back and
Vibe.
forth and where
Okay.
they're coming up with.
They're going to set it up the best.
Yeah.
They know better. Like they'll a couple of hours into the first night, and they're hiding in places and they're doing things that I wouldn't think of.
Oh,
So
wow.
we just let them go and do their thing. We
Okay.
tell them what we expect them to do,
Right.
where the scare is, and where the areas are to scare, but they pretty much do their own thing.
And then
We
they're
have some
they're
rules.
free to develop their character, like obviously as the like you said, as the year goes on, especially. Well, that part of my character didn't work, but this did, so I'm going to emphasize that in my character and develop that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
We
goodness.
let them do a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've talked to several different haunters, and you and I both know a lot of people that a lot of the home haunts do that now, where it's not so much do this in this room and that's it, and I think that's kind of the old way, and now letting them take ownership of the room and yeah.
Yeah. It's so much more organic. It's much scarier when you let them kind of sort themselves out, and they know those that like really get it, and the ones that come back, they just have this natural gift. Sort of, it's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And they're just super good at it, and they just let them go. Yeah.
We do the same thing in our professional haunt, and I think there's a lot of people in the professional industry that frown on that, because I think they look at it as, I'm paying you to do this job, and that's what you're going to do. You hit this drop panel and you say these words, and that's what you're supposed to do. And this year we kind of came about because we're in the process right now of getting our characters set up, and listening to what you're saying makes me feel like I'm definitely doing something right, because we're doing that same thing. I have a sheet that I made where these my actors will fill out like what they it's kind of like what they're willing to do, what they want to do. I need to know if you want makeup or a mask, or if you're allergic to makeup, or if if you have bad knees and you can't crawl, do you need to be standing? Do you need to be sitting? Like just different things like that. Because if I have an idea for a character and I'm like, hey, you have to crawl on the floor with blood all over you, screaming and crawling after the patrons, if they say, well, I have bad knees and I'm allergic to blood, and my vocal teacher told me I can't scream. Well, there goes that idea, So I think it's good whenever you give, your actors, whether they're paid or volunteer, a chance to be who they want to be, because I just find that they're so much better when they can be who they want to be. Yeah. And I'm seeing that in this. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah. When we had a haunt, we did the same thing. We would let them, we would give them a theme. In fact, we would print out on a little piece of paper, because we had a lot of volunteers. We would print on a piece of paper who they were and what the room was about and what the character was about. And then we would place everybody 15 minutes before, and I would go through and I say, okay, this is what the last person did. This is what I would do. You do what you want. And sometimes you get those people, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And then you walk back through, and the girl's like hanging off the ceiling, their head spinning around. Right? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, like I love with this character, how she walks the people through, and then as she's tearing you away from looking anywhere else, this guy's looking right at her. He's looking. I don't know what's going to happen. He's not even looking, and then boom, the other, the actual scare comes out, and it's just, I mean, the ability for those two actors to work together probably came from them hanging out together and working in that room and deciding this is what's, yes, we know the scare is a misdirection, but it's going to work really well. They probably tried it differently the first time, Yeah.
This is exactly why I love Halloween. This is exactly why I love haunted houses. It's just this, you guys nailed it. They try,
they figure out what works, and
Yeah, that's why we put two together, and then they seem to just play off each other. They figure it out very quickly.
Nice.
And it's worked well for us. Very good.
God,
We got a great group.
Is it October yet? God,
Yeah,
I know, right? It's after July 4th. It's fair game. It's fair game.
Somebody open up a haunted house. I gotta go.
RJ wanted to know. I think we kind of covered it a little bit beforehand, but you may have passed over it. How long does it take to set it all up? Like, I know you said you started in July, but
start building in July. The setup starts in end of September, and then it's like every weekend, and then the last week I take off work and just
2 weeks.
2 weeks and just build, like finish it up.
Yeah.
It's never finished, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's
a good 3 to 4 weeks. We like to have the front yard display done quite early in September, so that's off the plate.
Because then people can watch it and see it come. They know something's happening.
True.
Because everybody's walking by every day. I'm out there building. Somebody's walking by. What are you doing this year? What's going on?
Yeah.
They watch.
I have one last question before we start wrapping things up. How much of the haunted house is unique, and how much is it purchased? Like, do you shop at Transworld? Do you shop at the Halloween Express? Or do you create everything from scratch? Like, what would be the percentage of that?
Probably by less than 10%.
I would say.
Is purchased?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Props.
Amazing.
Of specific props, yeah.
Right. I mean, you're buying candles, you're buying sheets and stuff like that, but you're modifying and you're creating a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously the meat, the beef sides, we bought those. There's some key pieces you just need to have. But
sure.
The bulk of it we find on garage sales or whatever, and we make it from scratch. All the walls, all the paneling, we did all that, and they're all hard walls.
Wow.
So they're all plywood and okay. So you have about $8 million worth of wood in your haunt right
this year,
right?
You just sell it off and retire now. I mean,
your haunt value just shot up.
Right?
We would be far better off to just donate the cash to the Second Chance Animal Rescue and not do a haunt.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right?
My wife was laughing at me because I have 30 panels in my garage, like packed away in the back of the garage for my home haunt, and Angie's like, you could sell those for a good amount of money,
right?
And I'm like, honey, I'm not selling my panels. I'm not. We're gonna build on. She's like, she looks at me with a straight face because she's not a Halloween person. She's like, you need to find somebody to buy those.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Keep my panels.
It's a lot of money sitting there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We purchased these panels that were custom made. Oh, I can't remember who they were for. If Troy's around, he can tell me. But they're 3D panels, and we purchased, I don't remember how many of them in 2018, I want to say. And we're not doing anything 3D or blacklit this year. And we're literally turning them around and using the black side of them. I told my husband, I said, they're actually worth, we were going to sell them. We were going to be done with them and be like, hey, who wants to buy these black light panels? And now I'm kind of like, I'm not selling these because they're panels. We need them.
Yep.
And there's a lot of them. And so we're just turning them around.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do.
Ours have two different sides on them.
Yep. Most of ours are two-sided. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the interest of telling everybody where they can find your stuff, you have your YouTube page, which has lots of videos on it. Look at all that! Whoa, look at all this stuff. You could spend days and days. Do this while it's hot outside. Go inside and watch all their videos.
Stay cool. Watch videos.
They do have a website. It's RutherfordManorHaunt.com, so you can see all their cool stuff, more awesome pictures. And then they also, of course, have their Facebook page. So make sure you like it, like I have. See right there, proof.
That's right.
And so you can see all their awesome stuff and follow them. And if you're in the Edmonton area, then obviously you know where you're going this October.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you're not in the Edmonton area, I think you should find this place because
you
want to get a passport and go.
I know, right? Yep. The border should open soon, so we'll be fine.
Yes.
Food bank donation, any cash goes to animal rescue group that we foster and we volunteer for as well. So it's a can of soup, and you can have a lot of fun.
Nice.
Do you have any monetary donations? Is there a way that people can donate outside of Edmonton? Like if, say, On Collective wanted to donate to you guys' show, is there a way to do that, or is it just show up and drop some food in the pantry?
And pretty much show up, drop in cash or food. Yeah, we haven't really considered any kind of donations.
And I get it. I just thought I'd throw it out there because just love this.
Never thought of it.
Yeah.
Great. Look what I did now.
Yes, and Jamie said that there is a Facebook fan group for Rutherford Manor fan group. So
what is that? What is
go on there, and we'll have to.
If I'm a fan, can I be part of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, it's right there. Rutherford Manor fans. There you go. The official fan club. They have a fan club, everybody. Fan club.
I don't even have a fan club.
I don't have a fan club. I don't need one.
All right, I'm making a fan club. Somebody has to join it.
The Dan Dalton fan club.
I need one.
Oh my gosh. You guys are super professional, and thank you guys for coming on. This is awesome.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Congratulations on winning. Hopefully, Troy, can they win again? I mean,
no, they haven't. They don't know this yet, but they're going to be asked in probably a couple of weeks. That if they want to be judges for next year. So kind of what we do is we take out a couple of the people, specifically the overall, and we ask them if they want to be judges. But yeah, they really don't, because we need several years before we can have a veteran category. Because right now it'd be them versus Jennifer Dunahee, and I don't know who'd win that, because people who watched last week's show know that that's an amazing display too. So that would be hard to judge. So probably once we get to about 5 or 6 years, then we'll start a veteran category. So for now, we're going to have them, but if they wanted to submit a prop or something to a different category that they didn't win, then they're welcome to do that. But they, as of right now, they can't win display or overall. But they'll probably be asked to judge and nitpick, So
makes total sense.
Prop then.
Yeah. Because I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how you didn't win for best prop, because that, like I said, my score was way up here for that fire and brimstone thing. And I've told you guys in private before too that I was absolutely blown away by what you guys created with that. That was just. And with the fog coming out of it,
it filled our crescent. It filled all over the place. The fog was awesome.
Yeah.
Just one little fog or two.
One small fog.
Of course. You probably had perfect weather the entire time. It just kind of wisped around, and no wind, no nothing.
I know. Yeah.
You can just hear the haters growing in your fan group. You're gonna have a bunch of haters in your fan group now.
Normally, we never bother with fog in front because it just we had a nice fall and it was.
Well, in the way that the Plenum distributed worked. Yeah. I had a big fogger set up, and it crapped out right before we had to open. So.
Of course it did.
Of course. Yeah. Wouldn't be Halloween without a crapped out fogger.
For sure.
Anyway, thanks guys for coming on.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Yes.
Everybody is watching. Make sure you check out Rutherford Manor on Facebook. Stay tuned. Join the fan club and check it out. So until next week, I'm excited to see who we have next week. Troy, do we know? Who
you know what? Next week we have. As of right now, we have Daniel Browning, who is another winner. He was the best static prop winner. And he is he's from Utah. And so I believe that's the one we're going to record. So
awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Yes, we will have another winner of the Home Hunter Awards on next week. So
awesome. Take care, guys. Thanks for showing up.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.